We've got the slate. It's somewhere over there. But
just didn't bother setting it up. We
I would've
also
felt
didn't
really
have a camera
professional.
angle that got all three of them.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if the slate would do us well in this situation because we have 47 cameras and like 76 mics right now.
Okay.
None of them pointing the same way.
Bingo.
Three
Just-
slates you
we're
need
getting a big
for every.
room
Whoa,
clap.
for everybody. Yeah.
We're going to 3 slates make a Z.
Got it. Get your sponsors on there.
I mean, hey, if Chik Fil A wants to sponsor, so it's cool with that.
Pales in comparison to Manscaped. This is petition number 3, technically, because I don't think I set forth a petition in episode 3. So we're on episode 5. I don't think I set forth a petition in episode 3.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember if I did in 4. But anyways, this is a petition for Manscaped,
Yeah.
who will eventually sponsor this channel. And they need to, because my whiskers, when they touch the microphone, little sketch.
If we're talking about these two potential sponsors, one can get you to heaven,
Yes.
and the other one just cuts some hair.
Can Chik Fil A actually get you to heaven, though?
It is the Lord's chicken.
It is the Lord's chicken. It's inspired by the Lord. Does it offer the same amount of salvation as the Lord? I do believe it saves an empty stomach in a pinch.
Yeah.
1, keeps you well groomed on your way.
Yeah, but we're not even going to have that body here, so...
True. Okay.
That never gets out of the ground.
Anyways, I'm a big fan of Manscaped. The Lawnmower 2.0, I believe it is, they have out now. 2.0 or 4.0. Anyways, Manscaped, if you can hear this, I can't wait for you guys to sponsor the channel. It's going to be really fun.
So speaking of Chik Fil A, there is a Chik Fil A on exit 226, Mount Juliet of I-40. There is a lady named Miss Judy. She's an older lady, and if you go around lunchtime, you're very likely to see and catch Miss Judy. And she is the sweetest human I think I've ever dealt with at Chik Fil A. I've had tons of pleasant experiences at Chik Fil A. Actually,
for
very
sure.
few not pleasant experiences.
They're very friendly.
Well, they say it's their pleasure every time. It's kind of their tagline. Anyway, Miss Judy. She, on the technology, like the registers, is slower than her youthful counterparts.
I think with a name like Judy, that lends itself to a slower technological experience.
You accept that. But she is so thorough, and she is so pleasant to deal with. She recounts everything back. So she goes, Jared, so I've got this da-da-da-da-da for you, da-da-da-da-da. Does that sound right? And she's just the whole time you just feel served. And so I got to talking to her, and I said, you are such a pleasant person, because she brought our food to us. And she said, honey, I appreciate that. She goes, I tell people all the time, I don't have a job, I have a ministry. And
stout. That's stout.
this comes right off the heels of me crying because I overhear her serving the table next to us their food, and they're also praising Miss Judy and her presence because they're evidently locals, and they said, can we go see Miss Judy? That's what their kids say. And the amount of Christ that was oozing out of this lady just brought tears to my eyes. She then hands us our chicken, and we had our discussion. But that is a perfect example of
Being a light.
being a light.
Would you dare say that she makes up for her technological deficiencies with her witness?
1,000%.
Nice.
When we go there,
I think that's a win-win.
I wait for her register.
Y'all handle the computers, I'll handle the Jesus. That's what she says.
Absolutely.
I dig it.
So
I dig it.
it's a great example of something so mundane. She's an employee at Chik Fil A, but she doesn't see it as a job.
No, I think
She
that's an
sees it-
exciting thing for her.
Absolutely.
Side note, welcome to Faith and Frames.
Episode
5. Episode 5. We have a special guest today.
We'll get to that after the break, but first, let's thank our sponsor.
Today's episode is sponsored by none other than Motion Creative Media. Us, Garrett and Jared. Here at Motion Creative Media, we want to inspire love for active living through photo and video that moves your business forward. Thank you, Motion Creative Media. Thank you, Jared,
Thank you, Garrett.
for sponsoring this video today.
Yeah. I really appreciate you.
I'm glad you're here.
I'm glad you're here and sponsoring this episode so that
Same.
we can get it out to the masses.
Let's get to the meat and taters. We have a guest today. Would you like to introduce our guest?
Well, I call her Melissa. Some call her Mel.
I call her Mel.
She is a fantastic photographer. who we've had the chance to know personally, but also work professionally together.
Correct.
And so we're going to pick her brain about some of the things that she has went through recently in her photography journey and business. We'll just get into it.
Good morning, Miss Mel. How are you?
Hey-oh, I'm good. How are you?
We're good. We're
Good.
caffeinated.
All right, me too.
We've had our potty breaks.
Currently still caffeinating.
We're ready to rock and roll.
All right.
Miss Melissa. Mm-hmm. Or Mel for short. Do you want the public to call you Mel or Melissa?
I just want it to be whatever anybody wants because I don't want to force people to say Mel. But
Roll
I'm
with
also
it.
I love when people call me Mel. It's endearing.
Roll with it. Okay.
Nice.
She says she's going to roll with whatever. On our first episode, we here at Motion Creative Media talked about a recent rebrand that we had gone through in order to really hone in on what me and Jared want to do with our business moving forward, who we want to focus on. And I've noticed through social media, you've been going through a similar journey.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You have gone through a massive, we'll call it discovery, rebrand, what have you. But I think it started with an event that I guess launched your new direction.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess this morning, really the big thing is, can we roll back the curtains of time and talk about what got you into photography
Okay.
to start with?
Yep.
Maybe even some family history. You have a wonderful family, Jason and the kiddos. Maybe talk about how they inspire that, and then let's get into this recent refocusing that you've had because you are taking massive action from what I can see.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it all the time, but yes,
I
thank
understand
you.
that, but
Also-
you are on the outside looking in. You're killing it.
Also like the word that she used. She referenced it as an investment.
Yes.
What did I reference as an investment?
You referenced that event, that
Yes.
Oh, yes.
class, that
For sure.
whatever that actually
Workshop.
that workshop.
Yes, sir.
You referenced that workshop
Yeah.
as an investment.
Yeah.
Certainly had a cost, but it wasn't a cost to you, it was an investment.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's an important mind shift.
100%.
Mindset to think about.
For
Yeah,
sure.
for sure.
Start us with the history of your photography, maybe your family, and then pause. And I'm going to show you a little video that I discovered
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
through
ain't
some
seen this.
research.
You
And
ain't
I'm
seen
going to
this.
get your reaction to that. But
Okay.
let's hear about the photography journey, maybe your family a little bit. I
Yeah.
think that would be very fitting.
Okay, yeah. Well, my family, like if you're talking about my big old family, you know my dad. I'm one of 8 kiddos and from around here, East Tennessee. Met my husband. He's also technically from around here. He's like born in California, but we won't hold that against him. Bless
Close
him.
enough.
And my dad always had a camera. If we're talking like photography, he always had a camera. He was the dad that literally had the cameras in the birthing rooms, like while my mom was having a baby. So we literally have all the pictures of us entering into this world. Like,
Because of the
Interesting.
dad cam.
yes. Or was that you
Because
guys?
of the no, that is Garrett.
I'm
for
the dad
sure.
cam guy.
Yeah.
I love point and shoots.
and your kids are going to be like so thankful for that.
or they'll
might-
hate me.
Well, no,
One of
they
the two.
won't. They'll get to a point they might hate you, like maybe teenager,
Yeah,
like
true.
about that. But they'll really appreciate it, like when their kids want to see those your grandbabies, Gully.
Oh my gosh.
It's not in vain.
Tears.
It's not in vain.
It's not in vain at all. Because I really appreciate everything. Like my dad took time. We always just took pictures. We'd get ready for church. He'd be like, everybody get in front of the fireplace.
I
And
love it. That's me.
we would literally do that. And now we have all those like awkward, family, beautiful photos. And we wouldn't have otherwise if he wouldn't have taken the time to do that. So photography has always been something that's just been around in my family. I've always watched it, seen it. And I didn't really have much of an interest in it personally. My sister and my dad, my older sister, she always had the camera growing up. And I feel like I really started when I had kids, as most people do. They're like, oh, shoot, I want to use
document.
more than my phone. I want
remember
to
this.
Yes, I want to use more. I want to document more of their childhood, like in a beautiful way. So I would like borrow my dad's camera when I had a baby because he's not like one to take it out and be doing shooting all
Right.
the time. It would
Right.
just sit in his closet. So I was like, let me have that DSLR. And so I would practice with my kids, just, little babies into toddlers, and really fell in love with it there. I fell in love with like indoor photography, honestly, because I just feel like it's moody and dark sometimes, and you stand by a window.
The
Those kind of
mood.
photos are my favorite.
Before you get
still.
too far, I got to stop you right there.
Yes.
Because I think that's important. Editing styles.
Yeah.
You've got one, like everyone else.
Yeah.
And I would say it's definitely more on the Moody side. For
Okay,
sure.
I appreciate
Which
that.
is something
Big
that
fan,
Garrett
big
and
fan.
I personally love.
Big
That's not
claps.
everybody's cup of tea.
No, and that's okay. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Actually,
It's-
little claps.
Yeah, little claps.
But we're big fans of the mood.
So we just uncovered how you maybe had an influence on discovering your editing style, and it
Yeah.
stemmed from the environments that you were shooting in.
Yeah, for sure.
Lower
Love it.
light, natural light,
Yes.
just what's available.
Yes,
which
literally,
is
because you're not taking a baby out in
Yep.
January to go get a picture of him outside. You're
Bingo.
like, stand right by this window, sweetie, and get a picture of him.
And you're not going to get the plague.
No, no, don't want that, or like hypothermia or
Yeah,
anything like
or
that.
influenza.
No, none
so
of
you okay? That's awesome. Actually,
I love it.
Love the mood.
that. Okay, yes. So standing by the window with baby, getting pictures. That's where I feel like I really fell in love with it. I had baby, and then I had baby number 2, then I had baby number 3, and then I had baby number 4. So I really never like considered it to be something that I would like. I would take pictures just because when I feel like you start posting photos that are like obviously not iPhone photos, people notice and they're like,
Yep.
oh, can you take my picture? Can you do
Right.
that? And so like considering it as like some hide hustle.
There you go.
Hide
I also
sussle.
have hide sussles.
I got the sussle.
It's good to have hide hustles.
It's good to have sussles. Side hustle.
There's one for the blooper.
There you go. Side hustle. I never considered it as a side hustle just because I was so busy
Right.
being a mom. And so, but like you reach a point where your kids, obviously my youngest is just 2. So we're still in diapers, or she is, not me.
you
And
go.
but you get to a point where they're not like, they don't need you overnight. They don't need you all day. You can literally drop them off and, you have a little more freedom. And so, like I said, she's 2. So probably about when she was 1, I really started to think, hey, maybe we could do something with this. Maybe it could like benefit the family financially. It would just be a great thing to like have some side income and
Or some hide income.
if you talk like I do, yes. So I followed. I don't know. Y'all know them probably through me. I don't know if you knew them before, but like Lindsay
Didn't.
Roman, Evie Rupp,
Yep.
they were, one of them was at least having babies about the same time I was, but they were like kicking butt doing the thing that I wanted to do. And they were, when I first started following them, they were only doing photos themselves. Like, here's what we do. We're adventurous elopement photographers. They
Right.
lived, I
That's
think one
exciting.
lived in Hawaii, one lived in California, and so epic, beautiful photos.
Pretty
Great
photogenic
areas.
places.
Yeah, and they would travel. They'd go to Greece. They'd
Right.
go to Italy, take all these photos, and it was just an inspiring someone to follow on Instagram. Plus, they love the Lord, which was a draw for me.
Yes.
One of them was a mother, and I just felt a lot of relatable things with both of them.
Yeah.
So fast forward, I think I probably followed them for 4 or 5 years, and and they moved from only photography into like the education space,
Right.
which they have a podcast, and I don't know exactly when they started that, but
What's the name?
It's the Heart and Hustle podcast.
You were just on that, weren't you? You were featured.
Yes. It was life
You're a seasoned
dreams
podcaster
come
now.
true. No,
I have a question.
Okay, go for it.
I'm going to trailer off of that statement with a question.
Okay.
Are you a professional podcaster now?
Yeah,
You're
I mean,
on tour.
Obvious. No,
You're on tour.
I'm going somewhere right after this. No,
Okay, she's
just
on
kidding.
tour.
Technically, we aren't paying her, so she's not
They didn't pay
professional
me
in
either.
that sense.
Okay.
But she is certainly seasoned.
You are seasoned.
Well,
You're
this
well
is
on
the
your way to
second
being a
one.
professional podcaster.
Hey-oh, I'll take
Especially
it.
once you start that YouTube channel.
Boom.
Sheesh, you got to help me with that. I don't know what the heck, where to even start with that, but
So you
I know
resonate.
where
say
to
that,
go.
I say that same thing each time I fire off an episode. I'm like, what am I doing?
oh no, just don't tell anybody. And it doesn't look like it though, right? Like when you're in something, people probably think you're a professional and they don't even know it if you're doing it
Boy,
right.
oh boy, if they only knew.
Fake it till you make it.
Bingo.
maybe.
Absolutely.
That's a thing, right?
Absolutely.
That's
It
a thing.
is. Literally.
Fake it till you make it. Face it till you make it is also thrown
Face
around
it?
sometimes.
Like,
yeah,
just gotta
face
smile.
it till you
Just
make it.
face it. Yeah.
Yeah, face it till you
I
make
got
it.
it.
So,
Plug on through.
so you met these people
No, didn't meet them.
through social media, though,
yeah,
right? You
came across them
followed.
through
That's
social media.
right. That's how you became associated.
Heavily
with
influenced by them, by
Yeah.
their podcast,
Awesome.
listening. And I was just really impressed, like, because a podcast, obviously, you're not like paying for that. They put out so much content that was incredibly helpful. Like, if you're in all stages of photography, like if
Right.
you're just a hobbyist or if you're someone that wants to move into it more full time, all the things. And it wasn't just about photography, it was life, and which created more connection for me because I was
Right.
like, they talk about their babies, they talk about their marriages.
Very relatable.
Yes.
Living room.
Really.
Living room.
They brought her into their living room.
Yeah, they did.
Amen.
We talked about the living room in a previous episode.
I need to go listen to that. Sounds intriguing. But yeah, they brought me into their living room.
You're on the couch and you don't even know it.
Yep.
Ayo. So yeah, I just super impressed with everything. Felt connection with them. They had education they had moved into that they were selling like online, just with courses and whatnot. And they had in-person events, but then 2020 hit and the
COVID.
in-person events, kind of stopped.
Ouch.
And so fast forward to 2023, right? Yeah, it was just this year. They announced that they were going to do a workshop, and that's kind of where their in-person events originated. In-person workshops where they would have like 25 to 30 women just come and like learn directly from them.
So that's exclusive and one-on-one right there. That's there's a lot of value there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
my goodness.
for sure.
Just being in the
And
room.
hands-on, right?
Yeah,
'Cause
very hands-on.
that's awesome.
It's not an e-course, folks.
No, not at all. And so
Now, is this the one that you went to?
this is the one I went to. This was the first one that they have another one, like I said, they just announced yesterday.
So time out. I got to
Uh-oh.
show you a video.
Oh, no.
I got to
Uh-oh.
bring a video up.
I'm nervous about this.
I told you. There's
Episode
a video.
1 of Male Reacts.
Yeah, male
Sheesh.
reacts. That might be a cool section. Okay. I want you to tell me your...
What was going through your brain when you made
No,
it?
I just need your gut reaction to
Yep.
this video.
Okay.
That may or may not be of you. And for the folks listening who can't see the video, you're still going to hear the audio. We'll funnel the audio through. But Mel,
I'm genuinely nervous.
this is...
I'm also nervous. I don't know what's
for
happening.
me. Like
I
you're
don't know
getting
what's
that
happening.
secondary.
We're both seeing this.
This
for the
is
first time.
male reacts to male. Ready?
Oh,
Ooh.
Inception.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Tell me what you think about you.
So back in June, I went to a workshop hosted by Lindsay Roman and Evie Rupp. And it was a photography workshop, and it was amazing. I posted about it on here. And it was truly like life-changing. And one of the most amazing experiences I've ever had. And they are having another one. Like the scream at the end.
The yodel at the end.
The yodel at the end.
Yes.
Had me rolling.
Oh, okay, good.
It had me rolling.
Sometimes I don't know how to end videos, and I was like, just be insane.
We're horrible at endings. I mean, we say it every episode, like we don't know how to say goodbye. But the yodel at the end
Yes.
inside the van,
Yes.
for whatever reason, got
Just
me.
struck a chord with you.
So was that your realization at that point in time, whenever you went out there? Was that your realization about what direction you needed to take? Or did
Yes.
you kind of know before you went?
I don't think I really knew before I went. I think I had an idea. I think
Right.
I was like, I mean, people do weddings. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
there's good money. Like if you can market yourself right with weddings,
Right.
And I like shooting couples, but like I don't know for sure. And so,
Right.
big reason to not. I think it was even a subconscious reason. It wasn't like I'm going there to find my niche.
Yeah.
Right.
But going there, that was a beautiful side product. Like, okay, I really love shooting couples. I want to kind of move into weddings. So yeah.
So for our listeners that may be starting photography, because we
Yeah.
all start somewhere,
Right.
Absolutely.
how long did it take you to get to that point before you realized this is what I love and what I want to shoot?
Shooting a lot of people and a lot of different things.
With cameras.
With
What
cameras.
kind of time frame though?
Probably since I had a camera. Like,
Yeah.
So it's like a
obviously-
4-year journey.
Yeah, 4 or 5
There
year
you
journey.
go.
Yeah.
So that's important to
And
know.
it started with your
because-
family.
Yeah.
Started with your family
Obviously.
photos.
Yeah, for sure with kids.
So this is also important to note. We see it all the time with the people that we watch on YouTube who appear, at least to us, to be overnight successes.
Right. There is no such thing.
Because
right?
I only discovered them once they're successful,
Yeah.
which
Right.
is what people are going to continue to do with you. They're going to stumble upon your account
Yeah.
and they're going to see the success, but they didn't see the hours, the
Sheesh.
years
Blood,
that went
sweat, and
into
tears.
that, and so that's important to keep people. I
Grounded.
think, yeah, it's like,
Yes.
look, I'm here today
Yeah.
because of the work that went in 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I was going to say that it's funny because, when you talk to successful people, they'll say, oh, yeah, I'm an overnight success. It only took me 10 years to get there. Like, I love it when they do that because
yeah.
we only see the good. And that's
Yeah.
true
The
with
highlight reel.
Yeah, that's true with most social media. Like, you
For sure.
only see the good. And whenever you do see somebody that's an inspiration to you, we only see the good because
Yeah.
we've caught them probably a few years into what they're doing.
Succeeding. Yeah.
Yeah, succeeding. But yeah, it took them 5, 10, sometimes 15 years to
Yeah.
find something.
It did.
But yeah, I love it when they say that. Yeah, it only took me
Well,
10
when
years
you
to get
said
there.
that, I was like, you really hear people say that? And then you finished. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. It cracks me up.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's important to note, though.
It is.
It's
Yes.
important for people to understand because I think social media can be extremely discouraging.
It can be.
And lonely. Like, you're
Especially
like,
as a
"Dang."
creator.
You know, comparison is the thief of all joy.
Yes. Yes.
We've heard that a blue million times.
Yes.
Well, that's because we're only ever putting the best out on social media.
Yeah.
And if you see a YouTube channel that has millions of subscribers and you're using that as your answer to or reason to not start one,
Or if you just
whatever,
started your channel yesterday.
and you get discouraged because
Yeah.
it's like I got 4 views.
Yep.
Yeah.
They also
Been
got
there,
4
done
views at
that.
one point. So
Hey, we're still in it. We're still in it. That is the blessing and the curse of being
Keeps you
creators.
humble, right?
It does. It
Yeah.
keeps you
Very much so.
humble. Sometimes it keeps you motivated.
Yeah.
Sometimes it keeps you depressed, depending on how you're doing your comparison game.
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
why I think community is important, though.
Community is.
Oh, hallelujah.
I have been opened. My eyes have been opened. I've not been opened.
been open.
I'm still pretty closed, I reckon. But
I have been
my
open.
eyes
Okay.
have been open.
I'm going to cut and copy that for later.
Let's just keep it
I
cut.
have been open. Me and
we
Garrett
we
were
don't
like,
actually need to paste that anywhere. So my eyes have been opened.
Yes.
Through various means of the power of community.
Yes.
And I think that's probably something that you got with this workshop.
Absolutely. Yeah. That was one of the biggest takeaways, honestly. Like, obviously, the education and like the experience and going through all of it. But the community aspect, I figured like I'd walk away with some pals, you know.
Yeah, couple
But,
buds.
Yeah, literally. Because I mean, I'm generally like a people person. I
Right.
love being around people. But at the same time, it's, you know, like when you were little and you go to camp and you come away and you're like, oh, I made my best friend. But there was also some people who were like, they were mean, or
Yeah,
all right.
they were like, they bullied me, or
Yeah.
they were just obnoxious.
Thoroughly do not enjoy this person.
Yes, and you're ready to leave. Like, that was just not the case. And I think that's due to the culture that they've just created with,
Right.
and the people that are willing to invest in that kind of retreat workshop thing. It's people that are all like-minded.
There's that word again.
I was going to say the investment word is important because
Yes.
the product that they put out, it does take some investment financially, time wise, but I think that's very important for especially that niche, because I think that weeds out a lot of those meanies.
It does.
It weeds out the
It
bullies. Like,
does.
you're only going to get people there who are pulling the cart in the same direction as you,
Yeah, yeah.
which is
For sure.
super important.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to build a brand, build a business, heck, discover what you even like doing. And I'll even ask this question. You said you kind of had an idea of what you liked whenever you went there, but through that experience, do you think that you found your niche, or did your niche find you?
Ooh.
Oof, what a deep question.
Because you're definitely niche now. I mean, you are wedding and couples photography,
Right, right. I feel like maybe my niche found me.
right?
Yep.
Because we worked with some, like, my husband's calling me. Bless
All good.
him.
Sorry, Jason.
Sorry, honey. Hold on.
Sorry.
I think the niche found me because we worked with some amazing couples
Right.
there, and they were all like true couples. They were either married or they've been dating for a long time.
They weren't
and-
props.
No, they weren't just models. I mean, they were all fine, but they were they were real people, and a lot of them, like, I think all of them, like, love the Lord. Like,
Yeah.
it was just that's another thing that just made it so amazing. They found people, even down to their models, like
Yeah.
people that are like-minded.
That's awesome.
And there was one particular couple that I just loved. I mean, everybody loved them, but we shot them out like near Joshua Tree.
Yeah.
And they're what you would call your dream client. Like,
Right.
they are just comfortable in front of the camera, which isn't always necessarily like
not the case.
it's not the case, and that's not necessarily important for it to be a dream client for me. Like, it's my job to help you feel comfortable in front of the
And
camera.
you do great at it, by the way.
Yep.
Oh, thank you
Yes.
so much. I appreciate
Great at
that.
disarming.
I need to do
Cameras
your
are
couple
intimidating.
Shoot.
Yes.
Cameras are intimidating.
They are for most people.
When I get in front of the camera,
not natural.
I think it's like, yeah, scary.
It's natural human reaction.
Yeah, just having a big
Mm-hmm.
black box pointed at you. Yes, but they were very comfortable in front of the camera, but like in the most beautiful, like humble, confident way.
Right.
And they were just like
Genuine.
genuinely in love with each other. They had been married for like 5 years, and I was like, I want to attract this type of person.
I can do this.
I just want to attract this type of client because it is a joy then
Right.
to work. Because we've all had clients that were not a joy
A little more difficult.
to work with.
Presented
And,
challenges.
Yeah, for the most part, I've had really great people, but they just don't want to be there, and I
Right.
feel like that makes me feel like, oh gosh,
I feel like a
let's get
burden
you
at that
outta here.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I'm
I
in your
feel
way
rushed.
now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
just like, let's get it over with for your sake, because I don't want you to feel uncomfortable.
For the love of humanity, please
Yeah.
let me
get it
Put my
done.
camera up.
Yes.
Yeah. So I've like last night I shot like the dingus family.
The dingai.
The dingai.
The dingo.
It's just a joy when you can work with people that like are, and they might not have all necessarily been like super confident in front of the
Right.
camera. They're just a joy as a person
Right.
or as a people, as a dingai. And they
Similar
were,
to a nuclei.
yes,
Ooh.
big. If y'all don't know who we're talking about, that's a family. That,
Very
it was
close
like
family friends.
extended family,
Yeah.
but like mom, dad,
Right.
Mimi, Papa,
Yeah.
uncle, aunt,
Jackson,
grandkids.
Lindy.
Yes,
Named
And
after
their
the
address
Canadian
is-
show
no.
Heartland
Ooh.
Oh,
Don't
called
your
out.
wife? Doesn't your wife like the Canadian Cowboys?
because of the dingo.
Oh, so she was
Ooh.
influenced by the dingai.
Yeah, Sarah was influenced. She's in the living room now of
And
the dingo.
now-
and they're
Bless.
massive influence.
Now she's like 42 episodes or seasons in.
well, there's literally 20 seasons on Heartland.
Oh my word!
And I think she's in season 15 or 16 right now.
She's did
Good
some
Lord.
work. She did some work.
Time out, though. Time out. For some reason, Canadians say the word sorry.
Yeah, they
she
do.
hears it every night when she's
Right.
watching Heartland. Apparently, though,
Coming
I
from your
offended her.
lips?
Yeah, coming from my lips, it's very offensive. So I
ain't
take
Canadian.
offense. Yeah, I take offense to that offense because I have Canadian friends. We have Canadian friends.
Tons of Canadian influence.
So sorry, babe, but the sorry's sticking. The sorry's sticking. Anyways, that's a little squirrel.
Yes.
But yeah, the dingo.
Yeah. Shot
Radiant
them.
family.
Yeah,
Very
they're-
radiant family.
But it's like who they are makes the job enjoyable.
Right.
And so
Absolutely.
I feel like on that note, like when you're shooting couples, if you can get the type of people that are happy to be there, doesn't even matter if they're comfortable in front of the camera, just happy to be there. And they're like adults. They're not children that are, because I primarily did families
Right.
up until this point. And I still do families. And I love shooting families because there's a connection there because I have families and I know
Right.
the chaos and I love that. But when you have two adults that are happy to be there standing in front of you and they are very obedient
Yes.
and they're
Good
ready
dog.
they're ready to like get down and do whatever, like I just feel like my creative side really like shines best in that environment and I feel like it's just fun at that point and
Well,
it
you're
feels
able
less
to
like work.
focus on what you're good at.
Yeah,
At that
instead
point in
of
time.
like dancing, singing, and I still
Yeah,
do
dancing,
that,
singing, like
Right.
happy, happy, joy, joy, trying to get them to
Yes.
react. Like you're in your element.
Yeah.
You can focus on things like, all right, composition, lighting. I can focus on capturing that emotion. I think you have inadvertently, speaking on the dingai, Brittany Bowles, formerly Brittany Dingus.
Yes.
I believe that you have become her and Josh's like go-to
Yes,
photographer.
I'm so happy about
Go-to.
that.
and it looks like you guys genuinely have a blast when
Yeah.
you shoot together.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I certainly hope they do, but it's
And those two are like sloppily in love as well. So it's
which
like,
is my favorite.
right. That's good for you. I'm not the
Yes.
emotional guy, but that's great for
I'll
you.
bring it out of you though.
There you go.
So I think,
Jared's the crier.
oh, I'm certainly the crier.
Cried in
Ooh,
Chik
I
Fil
got
A.
some good prompts that would make you weep.
Oh, Miss Judy.
I don't need that
Yes,
in
you
my
do.
life.
Your wife wants that. You know she does.
I don't know.
Your kids would want that to see you guys in love at this age, right?
True.
People like think they're getting in front of the camera for themselves. I'm like, hell no. It is for. Sorry, I said that.
You're
it's
good.
for your babies,
Right.
Like it's for your kids. It's
Right.
for them to see you.
Set the example.
So
No, not to say that. Like for them to enjoy seeing
You happy.
when they're adults. They're like, this is dad and mom. Like
Look
some
how-
of my
Oh, that
favorite
makes sense, yeah.
pictures are of my mom and dad splashing at the beach, where dad probably set it up on a log, and they're in
Yep.
their 20s, and they're like arms around each other, like the old film. Like
Right.
those are some of my favorite photos that see my parents in love. Like there's some security in that.
Well, also too, back then, photo was like still so much of a what do we call it? A novelty.
yeah,
I saw a meme the other day that showed like the first Japanese man to ever be photographed.
Oh my.
And it was so foreign to him, he thought it was a big joke. So he's literally just cracking up the whole time. We don't have that anymore
No.
in photography. Everybody's so polished and perfect, and like
Yeah.
we have to put our best on at all times.
Right.
Whenever you go back and see old photos of grandparents, parents, like it was such a novelty that it's real.
Yeah.
It's so real, and that's what I love about film, especially
Yeah.
from back in the
Shoosh.
day.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, like you can put yourself on that beach. You know the camera's sitting on the log because we couldn't
Yeah.
afford a tripod. At that
Yeah, I
point
was
in
gonna
time.
say
What was a
tripod, but I was
tripod?
like, I'm pretty sure yeah.
We can't afford a tripod. We
Yeah.
barely got the camera, but
Yeah.
like the reality of that moment is to me like it gets chills. It gets
Yeah.
chills going.
Yep.
speaking of that though, like if you were to compare photos of that day versus anything you see on Instagram, those would widely be considered in the industry a snapshot.
Oh yeah,
They
for
wouldn't
sure.
be a portfolio piece.
No.
They wouldn't be something that
A moment
you
in time.
actually composed and shot.
Right.
No, it froze a literal moment in time.
You're just hoping the camera don't fall off the log
But
before it snaps.
But if you look at it, it's so thought provoking.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking back at an old photo album that you don't remember actually being a part of,
Right.
but like you're looking back at it,
Mm-hmm.
you can place yourself in those images.
oh, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
And I think that's
Transports you.
yeah. Well, so you mentioned fun couples, you mentioned fun families.
Mm-hmm.
I think cameras are extremely intimidating. We've mentioned that before. I
Yes.
think they're extremely intimidating. And in my experience, say it's an hour-long session, I'd say the first 10 to 12 minutes are usually
Poo.
well, yeah,
They're tough.
You're-
They're tough.
Oh, I know. I tell people.
You're trying to warm up.
so yeah, I'm giving them softball tosses,
Yeah.
right? I'm giving them I'm trying to break down that
Yeah.
intimidation barrier. Because if you will take that journey with me as your photographer, we're going to get to some really good candid
Yeah.
moments.
Right.
We're going to get to some
Those
really good
happen the last
emotion.
like 20 minutes.
They
Bingo.
do.
You're just
Bingo.
on a roll.
And that's something that
Got to
I think
build momentum.
You got to
Yeah.
build. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I think that's
for sure.
important to note. Is like it's not natural for anyone. Well, the models, but like
Yeah.
most
But
people,
they didn't start off being natural.
They didn't start out being natural.
It takes practice.
It
And
does.
so I think that's important. Is like, but good photographers can disarm you,
Yeah, they bring it out of you.
and I think that's. I'm guessing that's probably something you learned out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Maybe just. I mean, you've always been great with people, but I'm sure you were able to learn cues,
Yeah.
things like that. So
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's genetic for you because your dad is like people person of the world.
Yep.
Yes.
Former
Talk to
boss of
anybody.
mine.
Yes.
Mr. Terry, wonderful man. But that's natural for you.
Yeah. Well, I feel like
Even
it is.
before
It's in my
photography.
blood. But I feel like Baileys in general. There's still a lot of Baileys that go to Liberty, I'm sure. Like,
Oh, yeah.
they'll talk your ear off.
That's
you
true.
probably
You guys are
haven't met a
talkers.
quiet Bailey.
You guys
Yeah.
are talkers.
Yeah.
But it works. It certainly works.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what would you say to anyone who is just now discovering you as an account, as a person, as a photographer? What would you say to them if they are, I don't know, on the fence of like, I really hate having my picture made. But I think that memory is far greater
Than the fear.
worth.
The discomfort. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Greater than the fear, for sure.
I would say, I feel like that's the right thing. Like, yeah, push past your discomfort. And I said it to you guys earlier. It's not necessarily about you.
Right.
Like,
True.
It's about your babies. It's about your grandbabies. And that's like even part of like my website copy. I'm like, when you go to invest in family photography, a couple's photography, anniversary shoot, your wedding, whatever, that's it. Like when you get your video and you get your photos, and then that day is gone.
Yep.
And then like when you're talking just about doing regular photo shoots, that year is gone. Like,
Right.
I don't understand it when people say, we only get our pictures taken every 5 years, and they have little kids. I'm like,
Right.
oh my word.
Yeah, you're missing
Yeah.
a huge timeline
Oh
there.
my word.
What a
Like,
gap.
yeah. And so like maybe that's just personal. I don't know. And I'm not upset with people that don't value photos
Right.
as well. Like there's a load of people that just are like, I can take it or leave it.
Yeah, not
that's
for
fine.
everyone.
Absolutely. Because I value that, but they might really value something that I don't value.
Right.
So I get that. But I do think it's super important to like make time to do that.
Yep.
Because it's for your grandbabies. It's for your future generations to look back in that box.
Generational. There it is.
Yes, right? And
You're-
like see all those old pictures.
You're touching on something that I think is a whole episode in and of itself, and that is
Probably.
the power of photography.
Oh, yeah.
Not to be cliche or anything, but that is literally a moment
That you froze.
for
Isn't that like magical for lack of a better word?
all
very
of eternity.
magical.
I mean, I look back at, and I still have a sharp memory.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I won't, but
Yeah.
at this point, I still have a sharp memory, and I can look back at photos from family trips or whatever,
Right.
Yeah.
and I will see things that I didn't remember.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't realize how vivid the colors were there, or how beautiful the fall foliage was that year.
Right.
Maybe I have like, oh yeah, that was a really good year in my memory, but to have that visual reminder, And then you mentioned grandparents. I mean, a lot of people never get the chance to actually meet their grandparents.
Right.
Yeah.
So
That's their only connection.
That is their
that
only
medium.
connection. And if they have, I love looking at old photos
Oh, I know.
because even if I wasn't there, and maybe it's just the photographer in me, but like every photo has a story.
Yes.
And I will at that point start to like think,
Yeah.
what was it like that day? Was it cold? I mean, all of these details.
What was it like that week, that month, that year?
Yeah.
What were they? Yeah. So
What was going on in the world?
The true power of photography can't be summed up in this episode.
No.
But
No.
But I
Any
think you've
episode.
cracked open a massive can.
oh my goodness.
Inadvertently cracked open a
What a
massive
can of worms.
It's a good can.
We might have to have you back for that discussion too. That would be fun because
Yeah.
again, I get chills thinking about the longevity of photography.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been around since I believe the first photo was taken early 1800s.
Dang.
The actual printed photo was taken early 1800s, I believe, possibly 1700s.
Golly.
And it has literally stood the test of time.
Yeah.
And will continue to do that,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
I think so.
I
Oh,
believe.
absolutely. Of course. Yeah.
It might evolve a little bit like it has.
Yeah, it
right.
will.
But
sure.
it will stand. It will stand. I would agree with you, Mel, for anyone on the fence about capturing those memories, freezing that moment, freezing that place on the timeline. Go for it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take it a step further. Reach out to Mel. Reach out to Mel.
What is your website? We'll put it.
It's just
in the
Melissa
video.
Hankins Photography.
Boom.
And there, if you're family, I have a whole, like, scroll to the bottom of the homepage, and you get to a whole nother homepage.
Nice.
It's got families
okay.
stuff.
A
and
homepage within a
redirect-
homepage.
Yeah, it's like a whole house. Like, you open that door, and there's family stuff over there.
Wow.
Elopement stuff over there, wedding stuff. Hopefully, it's easy to navigate.
Sounds like a Dr. Seuss book. I'm a fox in a box and a mouse in a house.
There it is, right
Boom.
there.
I thought you were going one fish, two fish, red fish.
Oh,
blue
that
fish.
too. There's a lot of good Dr.
There's
Seuss
a lot
books.
of good content there. Yeah.
Mel?
Copy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being an open victim, volunteer, voluntold, whatever.
Voluntold.
Voluntold to come to
Talk
the podcast
about
this morning.
your hide sussel.
My
Yeah,
hide
you're-
sussels.
Your
That
sussels.
is now your full-time gig.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate y'all having me. I love being on a podcast.
Yeah,
It's
well,
fun.
once again, your career in podcasting is certainly blossoming because you're essentially on
As of
podcast tour right now.
yesterday.
And
You're on
Yeah.
tour.
Provided that we don't get canceled.
Yeah. We've not been canceled yet.
There's nothing been offensive like that I heard in today's episode. I mean,
Not to you.
Not to you.
Not to you.
But
I'm sure somebody's out there. It
that's
happens.
that's
There's
relative.
always trolls.
That's relative.
There are
So
trolls
provided
and
that we
keyboard
don't
warriors.
get canceled,
yeah.
there should be future episodes, and always love to have you back.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah.
And for those of you out there listening, thank you. Thank you for being a part of this Motion Creative audience and this Faith in Frames podcast.
If you could do us a favor,
Big favor.
this is on the whatever platform you're listening to. They all have a rating. They all have a review. Those things may seem minuscule to you, but
Yes.
what they tell that platform, if you rate it, is, well, provided that you rate it good.
No, I want all the
Zero.
ratings.
I
want all the ratings. I want to know. I want
yes,
to know.
Yeah.
We certainly
Any
want the
feedback is
feedback
welcomed.
But that tells that platform and the algorithms
Yes.
behind it, hey, this is good. People are liking this. People
Right.
are reacting to this. And
Or
so
this is
then-
bad and they need to quit.
Yeah, so then it
Get
gets
'em
pushed
off.
to other people. And
Yes.
so, yeah, ratings and reviews are important. Even outside of that, I always love feedback on my images,
Yeah.
all my work.
Feedback's good.
Yes.
Even if it's bad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
feedback's
If it's
good. We
bad,
welcome
I
it all.
want it.
Fresh eyes.
And
right?
as mentioned in episode 4, we would also like suggestions on whatever platform you're on for our photo assignments.
Yes.
That we have started. Capturing local landmarks,
Boom.
freezing those in time.
Freezing those moments, those places,
Mm. I love that
because
They
maybe
might
here
not
today,
be
gone
here.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
right.
It's a lot of instruction here on the tail end, but again, thank you guys for joining us on Faith in Frames. Jared, here's the hard part. You start
Goodbye.
us.
I'm just going to say a goodbye.
Okay.
See you later.
See ya.
Hey, y'all have a good
Alligator.
one. Bye, Mel. Bye, Jared.
Bye.
See ya.